Hello, my girlfriends are here. I thought today, instead of doing a weekly vlog like we've been doing, I would sit down with you guys and kind of do a life update and just catch up. So go grab your coffee or your tea. I'm just finishing mine in my good morning mug, and yeah, let's chat and catch up. It's been a while since I've done like a sit down life update video. I think the last one I did actually was when I moved to LA, and that was kind of the original pep talk. So if you have really been loving the kind of weekly pep talks we've been doing with the vlog, I'll link that video below because that kind of has like chapter 1 of this story, so to speak, or I don't know if it's chapter 1 of my story, but this is part 2 because I am moving. So I wanted to get you guys kind of all the details of that and like what's going to be going on and what you can expect, both like from a video perspective and from the shop and all that. And yeah, I just really wanted to catch up with you guys. So let's chat. So I know a lot of you are new subscribers and you've reached out and said I'm new. I'm so excited to be here and I'm so excited that you're here. So just in case you are new, really quick, the cliff notes of kind of my story and moving to LA. I'm actually from here and I moved to Denver after college and I was pursuing my IT career out there. Denver has a very much thriving IT scene, and I kind of felt at the beginning of 2013, I remember it was January 1st, 2013, I was praying and just kind of asking God what was next and feeling really stuck, and he really revealed to me in that moment that, you know, I was going to go home and kind of not to get too caught on that kind of Denver page of my story or chapter of my story, because I was going to be going home, and I kind of almost immediately started getting homesick and really preparing to move home. And sometimes God likes to keep us waiting though. I was reading on our God and Glam Facebook page, Natasha, she posted this amazing quote that I've kind of been like living for since she posted it. And all of these groups and stuff, if you're new, that everything is always down below in every single video. I get tons of emails like, how do I join God Glam? How do I join Paper and Glam Book Club and all that? And everything is always linked in every video. So just go ahead and click below. So anywho, Natasha posted this quote that said, if God is keeping you waiting, be prepared to receive more than what you've been asking for. So be prepared for more than what you're asking for. And that has definitely been true of in my life. I've learned, you know, with all areas of life, whether it's like business or dating or, you know, your career, anything, family, anything in life, I've learned that God doesn't cut corners with me, but a lot of times He really keeps me waiting, and if I'm willing to wait, He always delivers His best. And that has definitely been true of kind of me moving to LA. I didn't move to LA until August of last year. I don't want to repeat the whole old video because definitely go check it out, but just to catch up, it like nothing was working out as far as moving to LA for 2.5 years. Nothing was working out. It was like as soon as I would think that I was positioning myself, something would kind of almost have a contingency. So as an example, I had been applying for jobs out here, and you know, I think I got 2 different offers. One was from the company that I ended up taking a job for, but it came with some contingencies that just weren't right. It wasn't a salary that I felt like was commensurate with my experience, and really, LA is very expensive, so I didn't want to kind of set myself up to, have things be really tight here. So anyway, that came through, and it was like exactly what I had been wanting. It was like work from home, but it wasn't, it wasn't quite, I just didn't feel like the salary was commensurate with my experience. So, like letting that go and being like, okay, God, I'm trusting that you have better for me. And it's funny, a couple of my friends were like, oh my gosh, you're so greedy. I can't believe you turned down that offer. That was what you'd been waiting for. You'd been waiting a year for that offer, and it finally came and you turned it down. And I was like, I just prayed about it, and I know it's not God's best for my life. And I know that this is kind of a tangent from a moving video, but I kind of just like to give you guys the backstory, because I've shared this in vlogs many times, but I feel like the backstory is always so much more compelling, at least for me, in hearing and watching other people's videos than like the front story, so to speak. So anyway, and then that didn't work out. And then I got another offer, and this was like an amazing offer salary-wise, but it wasn't living here in LA. And, you know, if you're new, you know, my mom lives right up the street, my cousins live right up the street. I really wanted to be like right in the heart of LA, just because, you know, I'm young, I'm single, I want to be like really in the thick of it, and that offer it just wasn't quite right. But, you know, again, it was like, okay, this time I got, you know, the salary, but not quite the working arrangement that I wanted. And I was really set on working from home because, you know, the traffic in LA is crazy. And doing paper and glam, I've been doing paper and glam and my IT career both full time since 2008. So, right, if I'm spending an hour, 2 hours in the car every day, like that doesn't leave much room for paper and glam. So I turned down that offer, and like every time it was like, oh, so close, only to be like ripped away. And that is almost the hardest. It's the hardest, and just continuing to trust God and His provision. So all that to say, June of last year, I mean, it was like a magic trick, you guys. I was waiting and waiting and waiting for kind of circumstances to align, and like boom, like all of a sudden everything aligned. So I got kind of the job I had been waiting for. It was everything, like the most amazing team. Everything was just perfect about it that let me move to LA. But I got the offer 2 weeks after I just signed a new lease in Denver. It was like so heartbreaking, because I was like, okay, well, I guess, you know, it had been a while since my last interview, and I was confident that I would be getting an offer, but a month went by, and anything in life, time kills deals. And so I was like, okay, I guess this isn't happening. I like obviously need a place to live. So I signed a lease, and I'm not kidding you, like that next week I got my offer, and I was like, oh, darn it, another year in Denver. But, you know, just trusting God all the way. So I think it was a week before I left for Aruba, my boss was like, oh, you're going out to LA in June, which was right about the time when my lease was expiring, and I was like, need to figure out where I was going to live. And I was like, oh my gosh. I got back from Aruba the next week. I went to LA, and I had one day, I'm not even kidding you, one day to find an apartment. So I didn't have like a lot of time to look. And so I just went to here where I'm living now, because this was my dream apartment from back when I was looking at moving to LA. And basically all I could afford was like a studio in the valley. But this street and this area was always like where I wanted to live. So, oh, and somebody's at my door. And we're back. Sorry about that. So I only toured this one apartment. I didn't actually even tour it. I just went to the office, saw if they had availability, and this building, it's kind of an iconic building, and so the wait list is like forever long. They rarely have availability, and when it does, it's, you know, not always in my price range. So they had one apartment that, it was funny, like it like somehow didn't make the list or something, and so they were like, yeah, we don't have anything, and then 5 minutes later they were like, oh wait, actually we do. And it was just such a moment where God was like, keep a cool head, I got this. And it just worked out just beautifully. I mean, it was, I couldn't believe like everything that fell into place just for me to move out here. And so I did, obviously, and but I rented my apartment sight unseen, which is how all of the apartments here for the most part are listed, are rented, just because the wait list is so long. They're rented while people, you know, the previous tenants are still living here. So my apartment was no exception. And when I moved in, I immediately knew, oh my gosh, my furniture doesn't fit in here. So like part of my couch is at my mom's, my desk is at my mom's, my coffee table is in storage in Napa, where my mom has a house here and a house in Napa. So it's like in storage in Napa, and much to her chagrin, because like I have furniture in her second bedroom here in LA, I have furniture in her storage, and it's just, I love my apartment, and I'm so glad that I moved here. This is, you know, this building, it was definitely the right fit, especially because housing in LA is no freaking joke. Not even from like not even from, you know, like a price perspective, but from an inventory perspective. There's just not that much, and what's on the market is like I mean, from my perspective, it needs to be gutted. So when I moved in here, I was like, oh darn, this really isn't going to work long term, because I really wanted to move one more time and kind of have that apartment be the apartment that I stay in until I'm able to buy a house, whenever that would be. And I'd been in that season where I knew I was moving, right? Like I knew I was moving. So I almost couldn't get into my like home groove. And you guys know I love home decor, and I love, you know, seasonal living and kind of decorating my house and all that. And I almost like couldn't get into that vibe because I knew I was moving. So it was like, oh, I don't like want to hang that picture because I'm moving. You know, I'm sure you guys can relate to that situation. You know, this feels temporary, which to a certain extent everything is temporary, right? But still, I couldn't quite get that out of my mind. But anyway, so I was like so disappointed, because I'm like, oh, this isn't going to be the apartment that, you know, I am going to stay in. There's definitely a move on the horizon. So I immediately started looking, and I put myself on the wait list for a different floor plan here in this same building. That was literally like the week I moved in, and nothing came up. I'd been looking everywhere. If you guys have watched vlogs, I've talked about like going to see apartments, and nothing really just said hello to me like this place does. I love this particular building, not just because of the area, but because it's very safe. I live like right in the thick of things, and you know, Hollywood's pretty crazy. Like it's there's definitely a lot of people and a lot of activity, so you really want to feel safe. And this building is one of the few buildings that it's gated. It's 24-hour security, and not only that, I know all my neighbors. So, you know, I know literally everyone in the building, which is a really nice community feel. I went to go see Me Before You last night with one of my girlfriends who lives in the building, and it's just nice to know that when you know, if like something pops off, like there will be people to help you. And, you know, because my mom's not always in town, my cousins, they travel all the time, and my mom goes back and forth. So it's nice to kind of have people around that you trust. And yeah, I mean, I'm all about community. So kind of having a place that's like a little bit of a boutique building as opposed to like, you know, some of the huge buildings that are in a lot of big cities. It's just a perfect fit for me all the way around. So I didn't find any other apartments for, gosh, it's been almost 9 months. No, it's been almost a full year. It's almost been 11 months because I moved in August 15th, and I am moving on July 1st. I'm moving to a new apartment. So it's going to be that 4th of July weekend. And I ended up finally getting like my dream apartment. It's just amazing. Like it's kind of like my LA dream. It's incredible. I like haven't even wanted to share it because I'm like afraid that something's gonna fall through. You guys know how that goes. You like don't want to jinx it. But it is absolutely incredible. Of course, I'll be doing a before tour, you know, when I take possession and get the keys before the movers come, and hopefully try to get that up for you guys 4th of July weekend. And then of course an after tour. So right now, actually it's been really hard for me to film videos for you guys because right now they are fully renovating that unit. So I don't know if you can hear it. You'll hear like pounding and like what sounds like stapling in the background at every few minutes because they are actually like completely gutting my new apartment, and replacing everything. So they are floor to ceiling, gutting it, renovating it. So it's, you know, getting new floors, new counters. It has like beautiful quartz countertops, and it has white cabinets. So it's very light and bright, and I love that. You know, hardwood floors, the whole shebang, new carpet, you know, new everything, new paint, new everything. So I'm really excited about that, just to live somewhere that's new, which like LA is a very old town, right? A lot of it was built in the 20s, so not a very old town compared to like the East Coast or Europe, gosh, but you know, like a lot of these buildings were built in the 20s and they haven't gotten a lot of love just because they'll be rented either way. All that to say, that is the scoop on my move. So July 1st, and let's see what else. I'm just so excited. It has such beautiful, iconic Hollywood Hills views. Okay, I just had to stop filming because the construction was so loud. I can tell they're laying the floor because my apartment is like shaking, and it's so funny because we just got on a schedule where I really wanted to show up for you guys Wednesdays and Sundays, and then as soon as I committed that, the renovation on my new apartment started, and they're going straight through the weekends to try to get it done for me, and I wasn't expecting it to be that loud. I mean, I know it's close, but it's because my new apartment's on the pool and my current apartment's on the pool, and they're both kind of like in this little corner, and it's very much echoing, and I didn't expect that, but I really can't be upset because I know they're working really hard to get it finished for 7/1. Yeah. So what I was saying is, you know, this apartment is everything that I wanted, just from like those iconic views to the safety, the area, you know, it's brand new, it's the absolutely perfect space in terms of layout, and I actually did have an opportunity to see it. I mean, I haven't seen it finished, obviously, so it's definitely a hot mess, but I saw the space itself, I measured it, so I know where all my furniture is going to go when, you know, the movers are scheduled, but when the movers come on the 1st and all of that, so I am ready to go. It's like I'm so worried that like something's going to happen where it's like something's going to fall through, or, you know, God only knows. I'm like, don't jinx it, it seems too good to be true, but I feel like a lot of times that happens when I know you guys, I really want to encourage you because I know all of us are waiting for something in life. That's just how life works. A lot of you guys have been praying for things that for years, the same things for years that just haven't happened. And You know, maybe you're praying for that job because you know you're not in a good situation, or you're not in a good situation financially, or you know, obviously I don't know what you're going through, but I know it's something. Maybe you're praying for, you know, that person to share your life with, or you know, something much more significant than an apartment. But I've found that whether it's an apartment or, you know, anything else in life, when I'm willing to wait for God's best and trust him, and you know, he's never early ever, but when things do kind of finally come to fruition, it's always more than what I'd asked for, and it's always a little better, and it has that almost like fairy tale feeling. I just kind of wanted to share with you guys where I'm at, and hopefully that, you know, this encourages you. Every week, you know, I've been doing vlogs and I've tried to include a pep talk, and I didn't want this to be any different just because I'm not vlogging at the moment, because I'm really just getting ready to move. So kind of to move into housekeeping type things, what's happening with the shop. So I don't see the shop being impacted at all in terms of I'm not closing it, but everything is ready to ship. So I do see things selling out, and if you guys, I know that this is kind of the perfect storm, and I actually like planned specifically for this not to happen, but you know, as life would have it, everything's converging and happening at once. So I had specifically planned to release the Glam planner the last weekend of May, excuse me. So I was well ahead of my move, and an update with that. We've gone through 3 production proofs, and I'm still not 100% happy with the paper. And you know, paper's like the heart of the planner, so it's got to be just right, because once I release the original Glam planner, I have other projects that are going to utilize the same paper. Like I want to bring You Better Work notebooks back. A lot of you guys have asked when that's happening, and that's definitely in the works. There'll be tons of new releases hitting the shop, and I'm really excited to share those with you guys hopefully next weekend. But if you want your planner stickers to start your 7/1 planners, please get those orders in. You know, like I said, everything is ready to ship, but that's just a lot of things happening all at the end, you know, these last couple weeks of June, and I just want to make sure all of you guys are taken care of, and you know, let's get those orders flowing so that I don't kind of get into a bottleneck situation, and everyone can kind of have what they're looking for. When I did my Paper and Glam, like what's new and what's next, kind of from a specifically Paper and Glam perspective, you guys, I mean, the whole shop sold out in like 2 days. You guys showed up in such a big way, so thank you for that. And I have been hard at work restocking the whole shop, so everything is in stock right now. If you want your pick of the Glam glitter, please go now. And if you haven't placed an order yet, what are you waiting for? Because trust me, and I you guys are so cute. I hear this every day on the Paper and Glam planning group, but so what if you are like, why did I wait so long? It's everything. So it's everything. Get those orders in. I'm here for the first time. We're still doing 15% off with the code Instaglam. Everyone gets to use it one time. So if you haven't had an opportunity to use the discount, definitely do that. It's 15% off, you know, your whole order. And I think that might be a wrap. I think that's all kind of I had to share with you guys. I hope that you enjoyed this kind of life update, and I hope that you still found it encouraging, even though it was kind of like more for the purpose of conveying information and all of that good stuff. And yeah, just keep praying, just keep leaning into God, whether, you know, you're waiting for something really significant. I know that, you know, a lot of you guys are facing things that I can't even imagine, but I pray for all of you every day, and just keep holding out for God's best in whatever it is that you're doing, because he's, you know, like we talked about last week, it's impossible for him to fail you. So stay strong.